good practice this week. Health-wise, we're sitting about in the same place that we were before, like we discussed the other day. Alex looks fairly well, but cannot guarantee that he will play. Happel will be a no-go for sure. I think I mentioned that before. Aside from that, I feel good about Dante Manning. Moved around really well out there. The rest of the guys look good. So, questions?
Damon's been able to go back. I'm not even sure if he traveled last week.
Damon David?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But with Happel down, do you think that this freshman will get a shot this week?
He's a really good player. He's learned the system. I think he missed such a critical part of camp and then post-camp that he is catching up, and we feel he's caught up now. So you'll see him play. He already was activated on special teams. There's also, we feel like a lot of guys have developed really well. We feel like Brian Addison is developing. We feel like, Triquez, Dante Manning, they have such good battles going that we could also now work those guys at different spots to keep providing depth, as it's been the kind of year it's been, so that we're prepared for anything that comes our way. So
those guys are candidates to play that nickel spot in place of Jordan?
All those guys are candidates to play. Verone's played it as well. We don't want to tip our hand this early in the week, but we feel really good about, nickel and our dime packages going into the game. Base personnel, of course, is what it is.
How's Alex just been handling it mentally, the back and forth? I know, back injuries are kind of finicky and tricky to deal with. How has he just kind of been handling it the last couple of weeks when he seems so close and then he has maybe a setback here or there?
Yeah, well, he's frustrated, but he's handled it really well. Him, he's a competitor. The guy, you're not going to outwork him. And to be that close and to have a setback, that was really disappointing for him. But he also takes that and turns it into positive energy to work hard to get back. And he's really, really close. We just want to be able to be back and healthy. We don't want him to be out there trying to do something that might hurt him or hurt himself in the process. So he's a stud.
Has it been good just to see how many of your rotation guys have stepped up in that position? Whether that be Dawson, Ryan, some of these other guys, where you can have the benefit to maybe slow play him and be absolutely sure because that you've got that depth there.
Yeah, well, the way we practice and the way we've played games, we've postured ourselves to be able to handle that. Just don't want to handle much more. We will if it comes our way, but we'd like to have him back, and we'd like to get in the groove that we have been when the five guys play together. Now, credit to these guys on Saturday. I was mixing and matching, and a lot of it was on the spot. So, but either way, those guys aren't going to flinch. Coach Mirabal's got those guys wired to the point where whatever comes, they're going to handle.
The defense had one of its stronger performances from a pass rush perspective against UCLA. Earlier this season, you talked about wanting to get more knockback. How do you feel the defensive line has progressed for you guys this year?
It was our best game. I think what people don't take into account, they had 91 offensive snaps. And I think we limited their run game to about 2.5 a carry. They were known for rushing for 6 yards a carry, and I know there was a lot of chatter about how, there was a lot of how great they were doing, and so credit to our defense for coming out and from a physical standpoint, taking it to the opponent at the line of scrimmage. The front seven really did a great job knocking people back, striking with their hands, setting blockers, setting the point, and against a really good team. So it's really good progress. We need to take another step, especially as our young linebackers are fitting into these roles. It's so important for them to have defined gaps to fit, right? You imagine being a guy like Jeffrey Bassa, Keith Brown, all these guys that are playing, Jabril McNeil, and if those gaps are moved and guys are bounced around, that's difficult, right, with all that stuff coming at you. So the fact that they're playing so much better has really helped us out, and and they know that we're going to even put more on them to play harder, to play more physical up front, because to achieve what we want to achieve, we got to be better at the line of scrimmage across the board.
Dorless and Popo are two guys that play positions that don't get a lot of statistics. Can you speak, though, just how important they've been for stopping the run and creating those gaps and just your development you've seen between those two guys?
Statistically, how we grade, it's really high, real high productivity. For what they want to do for a career, excellent as well. Yeah, they've changed their bodies in the offseason, right? They've changed the way that they move, the way that they bend, the way they come out of their hips. They've developed explosive power. And they've matched it with a lot of upper body strength enhancement as well. So when they put their hands on you, those are heavy-handed guys that can control blockers. And a lot of times, again, double team. That's a different world now. There's no cupcakes and milk there inside there. It's go time, and they handle it really well. They've played banged up. They've played when they're healthy. They've pushed through plays, and they know we're going to push them even more because that's what our team needs for us to be successful.
I was watching the UCLA game again, and just the sheer size of your guys' defensive line compared to theirs, and just what have you thought of the maturation of that group just from 3 or 4 years ago? It has been like it just feels like you guys are just bigger, faster, stronger.
It's getting better. It's getting better. We're not where we need to be yet. We know, there's a certain vision that we have. I know everybody wants to get there yesterday, but you have to recruit a certain way. You have to train a certain way. You have to develop a certain way. You have to eat a certain way. That's the fun part, right? But we're gaining a lot of ground. We are, and it's showing up. It's really starting to show up. So foot on the gas, and let's keep getting better, and let's see how far we can take it.
Coach, did you ever get an answer on the delay of game? And if it's a snap count, what is the rule on that? The delay of game, and if it was a snap count, is that what it was that they were
For us, that they called on our defense?
Into the first half?
It was that our we were moving our people up front, and we have line calls that go with it. And when we made that call, we were accused of trying to get the offense to jump off sides. To this day, I haven't understood that or have gotten a clear explanation on that. So I wish I had better information. As soon as I get it, I'll get that to
So
you.
you can make the calls. It's just they're saying that you were doing it in a way that was, yeah.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I have a Cuban accent that slips every now and then. Our linebacker has a little bit of an maybe we just have to just abide by exactly how the officials want us to do that.
The issue of disconcerting signals, though, has come up more in college football, not just here. It's been everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when the offense, you're just not supposed to do what the offense is doing. So if they're clapping, you call. If they call, you clap. I get it.
Sure.
But this is still college football, so instilling to young guys to be aware of that. What is that coaching process like when this has become a bigger issue the last 2-3 years?
It's just go right by the book. Get the rule book, sit down, show them examples, tell them what you can do, what you can't do, and expect nothing but that. I mean, at the end of the day, we do play a game, and it's physical, and it's intense, but there are rules. And to be successful, you have to play by the rules, and we're always going to do our best to make sure that we follow them.
What's the progression been like behind Anthony at quarterback with Ty and Jay and Robbie? And has there been any separation between any of those three to be the two?
Yeah, Ty has been a little bit ahead of Jay, but Jay's right there as well because Jay's a really good player, but it's been mostly those two guys. Robbie is developing, but he is behind those guys.
What's the progression been? Anything in particular that stands out? Just for the three of them.
Progression in terms of how they're doing?
they're improving or whatnot.
They're really good players. They're progressing, and we're playing them as we feel that is the very best thing for our team and gives us the best chance.
Jeffrey Bassa has really stepped up in that linebacker position, especially given that that was not the position that he was, originally recruited to play. Is that something that where you look at, even when these linebackers come back, that is something that is in the mix for him, positionally going forward, maybe not just toward the end of the season, but afterward as well?
No, he and that's something we've tried to make clear from the beginning so that no one has any misconceptions. He was unselfishly volunteered himself to help the football team, knowing that at the end of the season that he'll have the opportunity to go back to safety, which is a position that he wants to play and that he came here to play. So I think the fact that he's getting the understanding of, he understands the pass game, has always understood it really well. He's getting a crash course like PhD in run fits and how everything ties in together. This is going to be invaluable for his development as a safety. So to answer your question, he will be back at safety after the season.
Between the injuries on the offensive line and Kingsley's decision, just what is that number 2 unit, what does that look like right now?
Well, we're a little bit banged up, and we're a little bit thin, but it's not much different -1 of what we had before. So I'm sure you guys could piece it together with the guys that have been playing, the guys that we have put in the 2 deep, so we just got to subtract 1 from that.
Is Jalen then the 4th tackle outside of
I'm
Jordan?
not going to get into who exactly is where. You know that. We got our guys, they're repping. We feel very strongly about the way they're developing and the fact that we could put them in there and they'll be successful.
The door open for him to come back if he wants to? I know when you go into the portal, you've seen players come back, or is it a closed shut?
The best way to put that is that, I don't judge. I really don't. I don't judge. It's like you respect people and you expect to be respected back, and that's what transpires, And we work really hard with everybody to develop and to have the best possible experience, development cycle, all that kind of stuff. So we don't judge, we just adjust and we move forward.
Sound like also, is Jaden Navarrete back in practice at this point?
He is, and actually did a really nice job working more on special teams now, and eventually looking to get him on some of our third down stuff as he relearns the system. He's a really talented guy. He's had a few injuries, since he's been here as well. But again, pretty excited to have him back there. He was working with the scout team predominantly, and then work with some special teams units the past couple of days.
We had talked after the Ohio State game about how you guys prepare for Stony Brook would go a long way in determining if you were a good team or a great team. Now that you guys passed a test like UCLA, is it kind of a similar deal since so much is still ahead of you?
I think what's obvious to us, I'm sure, I mean, you really can't deny it. It's like right between the eyes. You know, we're a good football team when we play every single rep like it's the fourth quarter. And to do that, you got to practice every single rep as if it's the fourth quarter. Anything not up to that level, you're saying you're willing to give away a W. That's the best way to put it, and that's the way it's been postured to the team, because that's honest, that's truthful, and I don't think anybody is good enough. Nowadays in college football, you see every single week there are upsets galore, right? No one's good enough to do anything but their absolute best in preparation leading up to the game and then playing through the game. So we've taken that approach. The Leadership Council's done a great job enforcing that, and you know the old saying, man, some people learn through consequence and some people don't learn. You know, we've learned that when we're not at our best, we can suffer a massive consequence, and we feel like going forward we're in a better place.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, Coach.